Hi everyone. Thank you for joining Parkinson Voice Project for today's online Speak Out Home practice session. My name is Samantha Allenderry. I'm a speech language pathologist and the founder of Parkinson Voice Project. I'm here to help you establish and maintain a consistent Speak Out Home practice routine. I want to thank Mary Knight, who arranged for the flowers to be delivered to Parkinson Voice Project yesterday. That was a nice surprise, Mary. Thank you. They are beautiful. And now, with 3,000 people practicing with us every day, we've got 3,000 people enjoying the flowers. So thank you for that. Today, I am going to show you a pretty cool video of the vocal folds. We had a question come in and it says, I was never musical and I have trouble with the glide. Can you describe or refer to me maybe a video that visually describes what is happening in the throat as we are gliding up and down the scale? So when we get to the glides, I'm going to show you this video, which is not only going to help you with the glides, but help you understand how the vocal folds sit on top of the airway and how important it is to keep the vocal folds strong, okay? But today's topic, everybody tell me who this is. Fred Rogers. Everybody say his name with intent. Fred Rogers. Yes, that is the topic for today. How many of you or your children, grandchildren enjoyed watching Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood? Well, there are some wonderful quotes from Fred Rogers that will motivate and inspire us. So that will be our reading for today. Let's all take a sip of water. We've got to get started on these speak out exercises. As you grab your cup, swallow with intent. We are speaking with intent, swallowing with intent. We're going to walk with intent, write with intent, put on our seatbelt with intent, do everything with intent. First speak out exercise is the warm up. We need to engage all the muscles we're using for speaking. Get ready to project your voice forward. May, me, my, mo, moo. How did you do? Were you concentrating on saying every syllable with intent? Let's do better this time. May, me, my, mo, moo. Don't trail off. Do it again. May, me, my, mo, moo. Stretch out those vowels. Let's do it again. May, me, my, mo, moo. One more time. May, me, my, mo, moo. We're exercising the muscles we're using for speaking and swallowing. Let's all take a sip of water and then we'll move on to speak out exercise number 2. I notice that I'm very careful when I'm drinking my water in front of all of you. So the thing with Parkinson's is you need to do that all the time. So just imagine 3,000 people are watching you take your sip of water, and I'll bet you'll use more intent. Speak out exercise number 2 is what? Say it with intent. Ah. We are going to deliberately open our mouth and project an ah forward. It's going to fly in front of us. Here we go. Ah. Don't let it trail off. Let's do it again. We are evaluating ourselves, okay? Self-evaluating after each one. I want you to ask yourself, how did I do? Was my mouth open? Was the sound clear? If the sound is not clear, try to project out a little bit more, okay? See if it clears up that way. Let's do another one. Was the sound clear? Let's try it again. We try to hold it for about 10 seconds, but don't worry if you can't hold it that long. It's okay to do a shorter one. The main thing is that the voice sounds clear. When the voice comes out clear, you know that the breathing muscles and the vocal folds were in sync. When the vocal folds are working the way they need to, the sound should be clear. Let's do a 5-second ah. Ready? Ah. One more. Ah. Nice job. Let's take a sip of water. I am now going to show you a video of the vocal folds. This video is also on YouTube. Actually, Lena, do you want to check with Julie and get this link? You can post it. Hopefully, if you're watching from YouTube, they won't block this video, but you will be able to see it on our website. But see if it works. Now, what you're going to be looking at are the vocal folds. Vocal folds are pearly white. You will see them open. I have the video paused so that I can explain something to you. The vocal folds sit on top of the airway, on top of the trachea. So when the vocal folds are open, when you take a breath, the vocal folds open, okay? And if you look beyond the vocal folds, you will actually see the ridges of the trachea that lead down to the lungs. So the vocal folds sit on top of the airway. The vocal folds are they are the last protection of your airway. Okay, when people end up with aspiration pneumonia, it's because food, liquid, saliva went under the vocal folds and went down to the lungs. Now somebody asked another question, and it was this. It says, when I do the exercises or when I talk, it sounds like I'm gargling or speaking underwater, no matter how much I clear my throat. For this person, I want to tell you, please, please, go have a speech evaluation with a Speak Out provider. If your voice ever sounds gurgly, we use that term gurgly or wet, okay? I want you to swallow hard. Swallow hard. And if it's not clearing up, then you need some speech therapy or specifically swallowing therapy to get those muscles stronger. If your voice sounds wet, it means that saliva is probably sitting on top of your vocal folds. And when you talk, now you can hear it, kind of wet and gurgly. Let me show you this video. I have it paused first. Vocal folds look a little funny. Here we go. All right. The way that they got this image is they put a tube down somebody's nose and the camera is looking down. So you are looking down, okay, someone's throat at their vocal folds. Right here, the V shape, this pearly white, vocal folds are supposed to be pearly white, okay? When we take a breath, the vocal folds open. And down here, under the vocal folds, this is the airway. When the person starts to talk, you will be able to hear it. This person is going to do a glide, a different kind of glide, but a glide. And notice the vocal folds close, they start to vibrate. And as the person goes higher in pitch, the vocal folds get longer and stretch. When the person goes down in pitch, they become shorter. So when you're gliding up, they're stretching longer. When you're gliding down, they're stretching smaller. We might watch this a couple times because it's very quick. But every time the person takes a breath, and the vocal folds pop open, I want you to see that that is the airway. Here we go. See how they're getting longer? Did you see when they opened up? That's the airway. See how they're shorter with a lower note? Let's watch it again. It looks scary, doesn't it? If you're not used to looking at vocal folds. But this is what we're doing. We're strengthening how the breath support for speech coordinates with what the vocal folds are doing. And then when we get to the counting, we're adding our articulatory system. So the entire system and getting it to coordinate together. Let's go ahead and do the glides. Project a steady off forward and then slowly glide up. Your vocal folds will start stretching. Here we go. When you got to the top and stopped, could you almost see those vocal folds opening up? That's what happens when you get to the top. You take your breath and then you engage the voice again and the vocal folds start vibrating. Let's do another glide. Now, not only are we engaging the breath support with the vocal folds, but we're keeping our mouth wide open, okay? These are the muscles you use to articulate with, to chew your food with, to swallow, to control the drooling, the saliva with. Let's do another glide. The clearer the sound, the more you know that everything was in sync. When you produce a clear sound, then you know it's all working the way it should. And if you can't get the clear sound, run to the speech pathologist and let her help you. Let's do one more. I should say him or her help you. Ready? Good. Remember, these exercises that I'm doing with you, this is for home practice. This is meant to help you keep up with what you achieved in your one-on-one therapy with your speech language pathologist. Take a sip of water. We're going to do the counting next. Swallow with intent. Counting. We're going to lift and project every number forward. Stop at the end of each row. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Do not trail off. Take a breath whenever you need to. If you need a breath before the end of the line, it's fine, but we do not want to take a breath on every number. So I don't want you to do 1, 2, 3. We need to connect them as much as we can. Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. If you were to give yourself a grade, A, B, or C, which grade would you give yourself? Now this time, do it better. Let's start with 16 and go backwards. 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Could you just imagine the vocal folds opening up like that when you at the end of each line and then coming together again when you were counting? All right, take a sip of water if you need it. We're moving on to learn more about Fred Rogers. How many of you or your children or grandchildren watched Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood? I did. All right. I'm looking to the side. By the way, if you're new to this, I turn to the side because I have two screens here. And so I have to turn to the side to get the reading material. Fred Rogers. Everybody say, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And speak out. Ready? Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Don't let it trail off. Say it again. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. So notice that I'm lifting as I'm talking to you right now. This is what you need to do in conversation. Let's all say, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And we reach forward. Ready? Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. We reach with our voice. Again. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Do you see how we're lifting? All right, let's read the sentences that Lisa prepared for us. Stretch out the highlighted words, which makes us use more intent. Here we go. Fred Rogers was born on March 20, 1928. Let's do it again. Fred Rogers was born on March 20th, 1928. Next. Ready? He is best known for the PBS show Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. When you said PBS, did you say every letter with intent and project it forward? Say those letters with me. PBS. Project it forward. Ready? PBS. Now read the whole sentence again. He is best known for the PBS show Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Good job. Next. He is also known for his lessons and quotes. Stretch out the word quotes. Say it with me. Quotes. Again. Quotes. Now read the whole top sentence. He is also known for his lessons and quotes. Next. Real strength has to do with helping others. Again. Real strength has to do with helping others. Next. Nobody else can live the life you live. Let's read it again. Nobody else can live the life you live. What do you think he meant by that? Say every word with intent. Maybe it means it's up to us, right? To live the life that is best for us. Let's read this one. Love and success, always in that order. It's that simple and that difficult. All right, let's read it again. Love and success, always in that order. It's that simple and that difficult. Take a sip of water. We will move on to the cognitive exercise. I'm going to show you some pictures from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I have to admit, I could not remember all of the names, and that's okay. If you remember the name of the character, go ahead and say it with intent. But otherwise, just describe what you see in the picture. As you describe pictures, imagine you are describing the picture for someone who cannot see it. Okay? Describe it in detail. Here's the first image. Describe what you see with intent. Let's read these words with intent. X the owl, blue feathers, light blue face, yellow beak, puppet, wooden door. Describe this character and what you see in the picture. Every word with intent. Let's read with intent. Daniel Tiger, stripes, cream colored, watch, toy truck, green eyes, puppet. And you would describe it like that if you were just using, simple words. Or you could say in sentences, well, that is Daniel Tiger, one of the characters in Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and he is playing with a red and yellow truck. Okay? So when you do the cognitive, you can change it up. Describe this picture. Let's read what Lisa came up with. Ready? King Friday, puppet, crown, white hair, blue and purple clothing. What would you say about King Friday, that he is sitting there staring at his own picture? Did you say that with intent? Say it again. What do you think about King Friday, who's sitting there admiring a picture of himself? Good job. One more. Describe what's in this picture. Describe the color. Imagine that I can't see the picture. How would you describe it to me with intent? Very good. Take a sip of water if you need it. I'll take one. We are engaging in deliberate practice. That means we're concentrating. It means that we have the materials we need to have a good practice. It means we get to the computer on time so we don't miss any of it. We have our water. We're really thinking about what we're doing. We're using a good device that is big enough for us to see everything. Let's move on to Dr. Boone's words. We need you to exaggerate the G, the K, and the NG. That means we want to hear those sounds. Let's say each nonsense word twice. Ready? Goo, la, gung, ga, ga. Goo, la, gung, ga, ga. The sound should be in front of you. Ku, ka, man, gu, ka. Ku, ka, man, gu, ka. Good. Top one. Gangla, like you're on a mountain. Gangla. And the last one. Kukla. Kukla. All right, if you need a sip of water, go ahead. We're going to move on to our bonus reading. If you are new to this broadcast, we always do most of the time, we do a bonus reading. This is usually longer passages so that you have to coordinate. You're saying something, the vocal folds are vibrating, then you have to take a breath, and then they vibrate, and then you take a breath, and then they vibrate. So we're coordinating the muscles that we're using for speaking and swallowing. And today we've got some longer quotes by Fred Rogers. So take a breath whenever you need to. Don't think about the breath. Just think about projecting your voice forward. Here we go. Mutual caring relationships require kindness and patience, tolerance, optimism, joy in others' achievements, confidence in oneself, and the ability to give without undue thought of gain. Now you can see how much more challenging it is to look at the words and say them with intent. So I encourage you to download today's reading material and practice these later today. Let's do the next one. If you get behind, just catch up with us on the next highlighted word. Here we go. If you could only sense how important you are to the lives of those you meet, how important you can be to the people you may never even dream of. There is something of yourself that you can leave at every meeting with another person. I never dreamed that all of you would be practicing with me. In fact, I never dreamed that I would ever have the nerve to do these exercises in front of all of you. I am actually, believe it or not, a shy introvert. But I care so much about you and everyone with Parkinson's, and I know these exercises will help, so I will put that aside and do these anyway. Let's read this one with intent. Imagine what our real neighborhoods would be like if each of us offered, as a matter of course, just one kind word to another person. Let's read that again. Ready? Imagine what our real neighbors would be like if each of us offered, as a matter of course, just one kind word to another person. I bet it was easier to concentrate on speaking out when you read it the second time. For the bonus reading and for all reading, I prefer that you read each one a few different times rather than just read all the way through. Read it a few different times, and each time try to be more deliberate and intentional. All right, we're finished for today. I do want to say thank you to everybody who has said your prayers and are sending good vibes and good thoughts about the Family Foundation that is reviewing our proposal today. I don't know what time their board meeting is. I don't know that I will hear from anyone today, but you know what? If it's supposed to happen, it will happen. But what I've learned over the years is that we do have to ask. We can't just assume or just put it out there. We have to specifically ask. So thank you to all of you who are helping me to pray about this and send good thoughts. All right, I will be back tomorrow, everybody. Have a good day.